Hey everyone, welcome. So happy to see you all. Today we're talking about April monthly specials and it's April 2022. And as always, we've got some really what I'm going to call the best, the latest, the greatest. Even if you haven't been here before, this is a monthly occurrence for us. We always want to try to talk about what's new and what's happening, for a couple of different reasons. Number one is if you're a user and not a sharer, it keeps your knowledge up to date. You get more proficient at using your essential oils. And my goal for you is that you either hear something here or you listen to something and you say, wow, I've either never used that essential oil before, or I've used it before, but I haven't used it enough and it's sitting in a cabinet somewhere. And now I want to get the best use out of it. And sometimes just takes one thing. I have to say, as I was preparing the notes for this presentation, there are a couple of essential oils that really sort of struck me and I thought I have to get that back out, especially now during spring. So something to really think about. I'm going to be talking quite a bit. So get your papers and pencils out. It's going to be a short one because obviously we have more or less 2 to 3 specials per country. And so, but I want to make sure that you have the information that you need. On the other front, we are going into a period of great activity in dōTERRA from, I would say from now through the end of June. We always have tons of things going on, and we are really privileged to have the opportunity to talk to new groups of people that we can really engage with. Why is this? Because in most countries, school is still in session until about the end of June. For some of you, that might be the end of May, but at the very least, we've got at least a month and a half, maybe 2 months, where we just can talk to people. People are around, they're available, they are engaged. Once summer vacation begins, or once those breaks begin, it gets harder and harder for us to engage with people. So take advantage of this time. Talk to people, please, about these specials today. Even if you talk to just one person, I think there's about 40 of you on today's call. If you talk to one person, think of how many people will be able to reach, because usually if you talk to one person and they talk to one person and so on, and we'll really multiply this effort. We're in the business of health, my friends, right? So our goal, or our mission, if you will, is to just spread the word about good health. There's so many people out there that don't know what good, vibrant health really looks like, but you're the ones to tell them. So I'm going to pass the word to you, and hopefully you'll be passing the word to someone else. So let's talk about best, latest, and greatest essential oil monthly specials for April. This is a big one. I just want to welcome anyone. If you're brand new, please let me know in the chat. The chat is open, and we really want to hear from you. Want to hear what's going on with you, and how are you thinking of using the essential oils? Right? Important. First up on the hit parade, we start with the US because that's where I am. So I kind of go around the world, if you will, but starting here right in my hometown. Our 10% off this month is TerraShield, and our product of the month is Citronella. So usually we think of these two products as insect repellent products, but I'm going to give you some other, what I'm going to call off-market uses or off-label uses, I think, that are really going to help you. So when we think of Citronella, we want to think about flea and tick repellent, of course. So you've got pets, or you yourself are going to be hiking. You want to make sure that you're putting your Citronella on any exposed skin. Nobody wants to get bitten by a tick, and certainly we don't want to get bitten by any other mosquitoes either, but ticks can be particularly problematic. The other thing that Citronella is wonderful is for the side effects from things like drugs, alcohol, or toxins. We can diffuse it or apply it to the soles of the feet. As we know, toxins tend to build up in the liver and the kidneys, and I'm going to be talking a lot about that during the course of this presentation. You can also use Citronella to combat things like athlete's foot or nail fungus, and you're just going to apply it to the area of concern. So when we're talking about Citronella, it is a powerful, I would say, 1-2 punch for any kind of bugs or bugaboos that you may be coming in contact with. When we think about tea tree, I'm sorry, when we talk about TerraShield, we want to talk about, absolutely, we're talking about insect repellent, but I'm also going to give you kind of, let's call it a little bit of a woo-woo type of use, a little bit off market. when you're in a situation where you feel that people are against you, or you're even talking on the phone with someone who's a little bit hostile or doesn't want to talk to you, I would really encourage you to put on your TerraShield. It has a lot of ingredients in there that can act as sort of a boost for our immune system, a boost for our emotions, and can help us when we're talking to toxic people or people that are insects, you know what I'm talking about, to just kind of smooth out those rough edges. Even if we can't resolve the problem, we can change how we interact with that person or with that situation. TerraShield is your choice for things like this. I'm thinking of a couple of you who have come to me lately and said, I talked to somebody, even if it's a member of your family, and it was extremely difficult, it was a little hostile, it was tense. Put on your TerraShield before you get on there. It really will help you. Okay, next on the hit parade, I'm giving you a couple of diffuser blends. This you're just gonna have to take a screenshot, so I'll leave it up there for about a minute or so, just while I'm chit-chatting. We've got some an evening outdoors, a sunny days ahead, and a perfect picnic. Usually when we think about TerraShield, we're thinking outdoors, outdoors, outdoors. But I'm gonna also challenge you to think of it as an indoor, as a protective, if you will. For those of you who like the smell of TerraShield, and I know some of you do, I have to say, I had the feeling of not liking it for a while. It smelled too sweet for me, and I didn't really love it. But the new formulation, and many of you may know that the new formulation came out at the convention last year in September, about 6 months ago. The new formulation for me is a little bit richer, a little bit more nuanced. I like it better. Maybe I understand it better, and I didn't understand the last one as well, and that's why it was not that great. But the new formulation is actually quite good. Thavamani is saying hi, and that she's brand new, so welcome. So happy that you're on. And if anyone else is new, please say hi. I really want to say hi to our new people. We got a lot of things that we're going to be teaching today. Here's some blends for you using Citronella. Again, we tend to think of Citronella as repelling bugs, but as I mentioned before, it's got some great uses. You want to think of it as anti-toxicity. So always, where can we apply it? Either on top of the body, right? Applying it right over those organs that need support if they've been challenged by any sort of toxins recently. Also, you can apply it to the soles of your feet. Two excellent, and diffuse. Really wonderful uses for these for this product. Okay, next on the hit parade is Singapore. Beautiful sunny day, unless it's enhanced. I have to tell you, I don't know. If you're in Singapore, tell me, is it a beautiful day there? Tell me in the chat, give me a yes if it's a beautiful day. Tell me no if it's not so beautiful today. I don't know. I am looking out my own window and seeing beautiful, sunny, clear skies. Oh, Thavamani says, yes, it is beautiful. Anybody else? If you're near to where this picture is, because I know Singapore isn't too huge, you can see those blue and sunny skies. That's great to see. So let's talk a little bit about tea tree, which is going to be our first, that's our product of the month in Singapore. What can I tell you about tea tree? A couple of different things. You could pop the top off for this and actually use it to gargle in water. But what I'm going to suggest is it is obviously antiseptic, so we're going to use it topically for any sorts of cuts or burns or scrapes that we might have. But when we have things like sore throats, we can actually apply it topically on the top of the throat, and it can be very soothing. You can also use it on your head if you're a person who is troubled with dandruff or any of the other skin conditions that sometimes plague the head. The other thing is for young children who are either in school or going to camp soon, because we're going to have camps opening up, at least here in the United States, within the next 60 days, more or less. Use it as an anti-lice treatment. So you can put it all along the hairline, which is where lice tend to jump on. The other thing is, if your child happens to get lice, tea tree is a wonderful recipe. And probably in the next weeks or so, we'll be able to have a good lice recipe here. Usually it's tea tree, peppermint, and eucalyptus. Those are the three things that you use. I'm not going to tell you you don't have to comb out all the nits. You do. but it works. The other thing you want to use your tea tree for are any sort of skin infections. I'm thinking about the ones that we sometimes get here at the edge of the eyelash line, and I think you know what I'm talking about, sometimes called pink eye. Also any sorts of topical infections, skin infections, irritations you might get. Tea tree is your thing. Not only is it going to help to clear the infection, help it to heal more quickly, it's going to do really what it's meant to do, which is to get the bacteria to kind of be reabsorbed into the body and to leave the body effectively, right? We want to basically get the body to combat those topical infections and to excrete whatever it is that we need to excrete. Our 10% off in Singapore is Petitgrain. This is a super interesting one. I have to tell you, I love Petitgrain, but it tends to be one of those oils that I don't know, I forget about it. If you love Petitgrain and you have used it in the past, give me a yes. Give me actually a number one. Give me a number one in the chat. If you've used Petitgrain before and you liked it, you found it useful, give me a 1. And if you haven't used it before, or you haven't, what am I using this for? Give me a 2. So 1 is yes, 2 is basically no. Give me the Poe jumped right in and said a 1. I've got a couple of 2s. Ferry says no. Lei Ling says 2. Sharon says 2. So we've got kind of a mix. We've got more 2s, it seems, as more people are responding. Petitgrain. First of all, what does it smell like? To me, it smells like grapefruit on steroids. Very, very powerful essential oil, but it's one of those oils that we tend to think, wait, what do I do with this? And I have to say, I've been one of these people who's guilty of putting it in a drawer and not taking it out. So now I'm going to give you some tips. Take these down so that when you see your Petitgrain bottle or you get it for 10% off this month, you're going to know exactly what you need to do with it. So one of the things you can do is you can add 1 to 2 drops to your favorite moisturizer, your shampoo, to promote youthful looking skin and hair. So we're thinking of our Petitgrain for that kind of freshness, that awakeness. It's going to solve some of those skin issues, brighten us up, make us look a little bit more youthful. You can also add it to, it is ingestible, so you can add it to herbal teas or hot drinks to soothe the body and the mind. So it's going to be comforting. You can use it at the end of the day. And then last but not least, you can diffuse it or add it to Roman chamomile to the bottoms of the feet before bed. So you want to think of it as kind of that way of relaxing at the end of the bed. At the end of the bed, at the end of the day. It is calming to the body, it's great for the skin, and it can help the immune system if it is ingested. A couple of other things we want to make sure that we're using our Petitgrain for are bacterial infections and wounds. So when we're thinking about things like tea tree, which is what we would be using that for, add in a little bit of Petitgrain. It may just be exactly what you use. You can apply it to, sorry, I have an itchy nose today. We've got a lot of pollen outside. You can apply it to the affected area or take it in a capsule. Remember, it is ingestible. For coughs and any kind of congestion that you may be experiencing, apply it to the chest, diffuse it, or take it in a capsule. If you've got acne, apply it to the area of concern. Again, very similar to tea tree, right? But sometimes tea tree, recently, dōTERRA has begun to say that their tea tree is not digestible. So what do we do? And especially if it's off label, you're going out to your teams, you're talking to people, you're trying to help them to resolve the problems that they have, offer them Petitgrain. It's not a super expensive oil. It might be a great alternative to your tea tree. And then finally, dandruff, same thing we were talking about before, apply it, add it to your shampoo. So what I would do is I would keep a little bottle close to my bathroom, maybe close to my shower, put the shampoo in your hand, add 1 drop, and then shampoo your hair and then rinse it out. You could apply it directly to the scalp. Any essential oils that are applied directly to the scalp, you want to be sure 2 different things. Number 1 is sun sensitivity. Petitgrain tends to not be sun sensitive. It's one of the rare essential oils that is not sun sensitive, but many of the others are. The other thing is that essential oils can be drying. In general, they are drying to the skin. You don't want to over irritate skin that's already feeling sensitive. Make sure you're applying with a fractionated coconut oil or other oil, so you're feeling a little bit more soothed, if you will. Does that help you? If it helped you a little bit, and you say to yourself now, wow, Petitgrain, I'm going to use that. Give me a Y, just the letter Y in the chat. I really want to hear from everybody because Petitgrain is one of those oils that we don't see as much. I'm going to take a sip of water. Hold on. talking a lot today, talking so fast. Claire says yes. Teresa says yes. Lily says yes. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It really helps me when you give me a little bit of feedback there in the chat. Okay. You got a great special. I think this is actually a continuation from earlier in the month when we this had been available. This is comfort you can count on. And if you place a single 200 PV order, you get the Deep Blue Rub and the Deep Bluest 5 milliliter essential oil. If you upgrade to a single order of 255 PV, you can add eucalyptus. So you'll be getting these products for free if you've purchased. It's basically a freebie with a purchase. So that's a good thing. Vincent says that not everyone likes the smell. It's a bit strong. I agree. I always recommend if you have a citrus oil that's a bit strong for you, blend it with a flower oil. We have so many great flower oils. You can blend it with magnolia or lavender, of course, any of the flower oils that doTERRA has. Some of you may have osmanthus, jasmine, rose. Those types of combinations can be beautiful and really uplifting. So think of blending your citrus oils with a flower oil. If you're even ylang-ylang, if your citrus oil is feeling a little bit too strong for you. It is used in the perfume industry, petitgrain, quite a bit. So we know it must have that lasting power. It must be sort of intoxicating, but petitgrain alone must just be a little bit too much. Okay, here's another promo that we have. This is our Yuzu Jasmine Rose promo. Oh my, I have to say, this is a really good one. It's the INBLOOM Enrollment promotion from the 1st of April till the 31st of May. And enrollers can earn a rose, a jasmine, or a yuzu, or all three by enrolling a certain amount of people. So the more you enroll, the more oils you're going to earn. Wholesale customers, you can enroll in wellness advocates or wholesale customers. This is something that I have to say, super cute, and wow, really valuable. I don't know if I've smelled yuzu oil before. Maybe I have. I have to look, but rose and jasmine, the pure oil in the 5 milliliter bottle, that's amazing. So you really want to earn that if you possibly can. We've got a couple of diffuser recipe for you with petitgrain. And as you can see, I blended it here with lavender, clary sage, a little bit of another citrus orange to kind of smooth out the bumps, if you will, and then a wood oil, sandalwood. But could you use this as a basic recipe and switch things out? Maybe don't have sandalwood, use cedar wood. If you don't have a cedar wood, you could use maybe a Siberian fir. There's other ways that you could substitute one tree oil for another, one wood oil for another. So just think about it. Use this as a basic recipe, but you can kind of switch it out. The other thing that you can see is we've kept the blend kind of even. Very often when I make my blends, I'll start with even, right? So I'll start with say 2-2-2 or 4-4-4, whatever, however big I need to make the blend. And then as I smell it and I like or dislike the profile, I'll add in additional drops of what I like, what I think people in my environment will like. So if I'm hosting some sort of an event, I'll add in maybe more lavender because I know people like lavender, or maybe more orange because I know that's very popular. Doesn't mean that it diminishes the profile or the effectiveness of the other oils, right? Our goal really is to make sure that our blends not only are appealing to our customers and our friends and our family, but they're effective for the issues that we have right now. And I would say as we move into this next season, we have a desire to get out and be active, right? We also have a desire to kind of shake off the difficulties and the anxiety of the past, what we've been living through for the past 2+ years. And then I think also to address our concerns about what the future will hold, because there's a lot going on in the world, right? So we want to hit those 3 touch points: past, present, and future. And certainly in general, our health concerns about what's going on right now. Okay, next on the hit parade, we've got Malaysia. This is a beautiful picture of Malaysia. I have to say, I really like this one. Wendy says to tell me that she loves yuzu drink and hopes the oil smells the same. It's pretty similar. I think yuzu drink, I actually use a yuzu hot sauce, which is kind of cool. I think it's yuzu fruit or juice, and then some hot sauce, and it's amazing. I love it. It's got that kind of lemony, citrusy thing going on. Yuzu drink, I think I've had that when I was in Asia. I think you'll like it. If you like yuzu, you'll like that too. Okay, product of the month, lemongrass. Let's talk a little bit about lemongrass. What can we use it for? We want to use it for connective tissue injuries. So what does that mean? You're running really fast, you twist your ankle, ow, put your lemongrass on. You are lifting weights, you're in the gym, ow, your shoulder hurts you, put your lemongrass on. But the thing that we have to worry about, or not worry about, but make sure we understand, is that lemongrass can be warm on the skin. Make sure you're diluting your lemongrass. Maybe make yourself a roller of lemongrass if you're going to be using it repeatedly over a series of days. The other thing I want to encourage you to use lemongrass for are digestive issues. So you can take it in a capsule, you can apply it to the soles of your feet, you can apply it right over your abdomen, your lower abdomen, if you are experiencing feelings of constipation, unable to have regular digestive and bowel movements. Great oil. I love lemongrass in food. To me, it tastes amazing. And it's hard, as I mentioned to you before, for me to get fresh lemongrass. At least in my neighborhood, we have a few Asian grocers, but not too many. And lemongrass comes in and out. And sometimes I get there and it looks like a dried up mess and I won't even buy it. When it's fresh, it's amazing. When I can't get it fresh, I use my lemongrass from the bottle, and I'll use it in things like stir fries or soups to get that bright, clean, fresh taste that I really love. That kind of lemon without the lemon, you know what I'm talking about. The other thing you can use it when you're talking about doing exercise, after exercise, maybe the day after, we have what's called lactic acid accumulation in our muscles. So maybe that first day you get out of the gym, you don't even feel that bad. You're like, yeah, I really worked out. I feel pretty good. The second day you feel like, oh, wow, I can't even move. I'm so stiff. Or did you ever lift too many weights or do too many squats and maybe your thighs, your quads, your hamstrings, everything is just on fire or stiff that you can't really move properly? Use your lemongrass. It's going to help you with that it's usually lactic acid buildup. It's going to help to kind of dissipate that. If you're a gym grower, and Teresa's asking, can you add lemongrass to tea? Absolutely. Whenever we add to tea, we want to make sure that the water is not boiling hot. We want to make sure that it's come down in temperature a little bit. Then add our lemongrass, and always start small, right? What we don't want to do is be throwing out 50 cups of tea until we get it right. Start small, use a toothpick, maybe dip it in and then stir it around in your tea. You also don't want to add 10 drops on the top of the teacup and then stir it up and then get a big boom blast of lemongrass right in your face. Use your lemongrass properly. So if you're a gym goer, or maybe even you're not a gym goer, have you used lemongrass for your muscles? Give me a Y in the chat. I really want to hear yes or a Y. Give me just the letter Y is fine. If you haven't used it, that's interesting. Maybe now is the time to use it. And maybe you're not a regular exerciser or gym goer, but you are doing, I don't know, work around your house, maybe some construction work, or you're going to be digging in your garden and you've come in and you think to yourself, oh my word, my back, my this, whatever it is, use your lemongrass. Use it in conjunction with your deep blue. You can use the two of them together. The other thing that I want to mention to you is lemongrass is excellent for circulation. When we talk about circulation, we're talking primarily about the blood, the circulation of the blood in the body. Whatever concerns you may have about blood circulation, whether your blood circulation is very fast or maybe a little bit too slow, or you have poor circulation of any kind, you can use your lemongrass, take it in a capsule between 1 and 4 drops, or apply it to the soles of your feet. Whenever we talk about taking lemongrass internally, or really any oil, right? Any oil internally. First person, tell me, how many drops are we talking about? I'm going to put it out there we have a range that we always talk about for our essential oils. I'm going to hang on for about 1, starting with 1 drop. Absolutely. Teresa says 1 to 4. Absolutely. So between 1 and 4 drops, that's the key, the sweet spot. We always want to use between 1 and 4 drops. If you haven't used an essential oil before, especially internally, start with 1 drop. Now, you might be a very tall, big, solid sort of a person, and you might want to start with 2, and that's okay. But most people of average size, I would start with 1 and then don't go higher than 4, especially for internal usage. Okay, just tip of the day. Here we go. 10% off in, where are we now? We're in Malaysia. In Malaysia is cilantro. Here's a couple of really good uses for it. Again, you can add cilantro into your moisturizer, your shampoo, or your conditioner for kind of brightening up your skin, the condition of your skin, tone it. It's basically a toner. You can add it to food or drinks. I have to say, I love cilantro. I love the smell. I love the taste. When I make a soup or when I make any sort of thing that it says cilantro in the recipe, I will almost always double the amount of cilantro. It says 1 tablespoon, I'm putting 2, or it says 1/4 cup, I'm putting 1/2 cup. I just love that herb. I love it fresh. I love the smell of it. Some people, though, do not like it at all. You can diffuse it or apply it to the soles of your feet with Roman chamomile before bedtime to be soothing. Richard says he's going to apply lemongrass on his leg and back tonight. Yes, don't forget to dilute, Richard, but let us know how it feels after you do it. Some of the other benefits for cilantro are it can be internally calming to the body, and it can help support a healthy immune function. Here's a couple of other things. Cilantro is known for its benefits of dragging heavy metals out of the body and allowing us to excrete them. The herb is known for this. One of the reasons why I really like it, maybe you have metal fillings, maybe you've been exposed to heavy metals, maybe you live in an area, many of us who live in cities, or even towns that are close to the cities, a lot of heavy metals that we don't even understand what the exposure is. Cilantro, cilantro, cilantro. You can take 1 to 4 drops in a capsule. You can also apply it over the liver and the kidneys to support your health from toxins. You can drink it in water. Whenever you apply or take anything that's a cleansing oil, what do you need to do, folks? Tell me in the chat. When you take an oil that's cleansing for the body, you need to take some. First person, let me know. How about this? First person is going to win an extra prize. What? Yes, water. Thank you, Marianne. We need to drink water. So whenever we apply an oil or we take an oil internally that's known to do any sort of internal cleansing, we have to make sure to drink water. Why? Because the oil is going to drag things out of our liver or kidneys or whatever, detoxify us. How do we get rid of those toxins? We have to drink water. So make sure you're drinking extra water if you're taking any sort of detoxification oil. The other thing you can use cilantro for is body odor. If you're a gym goer and maybe you come out of the gym and when you get to your house, your family goes, "Ooh, please go shower right away." You can take cilantro in a capsule, and trust me, your body odor will begin to change over time. You'll be fresher. You won't have the same stress smells that you might have other times. And honestly, sometimes stress can bring out smells in our perspiration that we didn't know that we had before. Use your cilantro, and I hope those suggestions will help you over time. So applying it, using it in capsules, drinking in water, and if you're using it for detoxification, water, water, water. Vincent also says water to flush. Exactly. That's a great way to remember it. Okay, next on the hit parade, we've got a lovely, lovely promotion. The INBLOOM promotion, same one that we saw in Singapore. Again, earn a rose, a jasmine, or a yuzu, or all 3. You're enrolling a new wellness advocate or wholesale customers with a minimum of 100 PV. And I'm sure that kind of steps up. I don't know how many people at each level. Needless to say, you're going to have to double check exactly the requirements for winning 1, 2, or all 3. They used to do this in the US, but I think it got so insanely popular that they've kind of ratcheted back, or we've had different promotions recently, but this is really a good one. You also have the Deep Relief promo in Malaysia for 200 PV, the 2 products, and then adding in this time wintergreen for an extra 55 PV. So these are all geared towards muscles. I think what dōTERRA is trying to tell us here is get out, get active, exercise, garden, do whatever it is you like to do now that the weather's getting good again. We're kind of stepping out of those yucky weathers, those rainy seasons. We're getting into a better season. I think in most parts of the world, we're getting into a better season. The only part, let's see, Australia may be going into winter fairly soon, but aside from Australia, I think our weather is pretty good right now. If you're in good weather where you are, let me know. Is this a beautiful season or it's a yucky season? Tell me beautiful in the chat. Give me a B for beautiful, or give me a, I don't know, U for ugly. Give me a B for beautiful or a U for ugly in the chat. Ferry says B, Teresa says B, great. Actually, we have 2 Teresas on tonight. Sandy says B, that's good to hear. I'm glad you're all in beautiful weather. Okay, next is skin, emotion to inner well-being. So we've got our passion, which is for our inner well-being. We've got, and our emotions, right? We've got our easy air for our better breathing and our HD clear. So this is from the 1st till the 30th of April. You're going to, all of these products are on special prices. So the HD clear facial lotion is going to be 155 ringgit with a PV of 39. Passion touch is going to be 124 ringgit with a PV of 31, and Easy Air Hard Candy is going to be 55 ringgit with a PV of 11. Some of these are expiring sooner. The facial lotion expiring in July, the other 2 expiring in September of this year. But if you're looking for a good product, either to use up quickly yourself or to give away as gifts or use as samples, these are great ones. I would use that Passion and the Easy Air Hard Candy right away. The HD Clear Lotion, you probably have someone in your house or in your family that could really use a sample of that HD Clear. Make these better priced items part of your giveaways or part of your sampling so people use them up right away. Okay, we've got 2 kind of interesting specials in Malaysia because Ramadan is coming, and as for many of you, you know that Ramadan moves throughout the year, but it is a lunar holiday, and this year it's going to be in the month of April, or we're preparing for it in the month of April. So 1st through the 15th, this is a limited edition set. If anybody knows that this is already sold out, please let me know, and I'll skip right to the next slide. We get the anti-aging eye cream, the brightening gel, the cleanser, the hydrating cream, the pure brightening, the mask, which you can see the sheet mask there in the box, and the very in the back, and a very pretty box. So this is a limited edition product. It's going to be ringgit 526 with a PV of 114, a really special limited edition. This is the Make Me Beautiful set A, and here's the Make Me Beautiful set B, slightly different. This is eye cream, moisturizer, gel, cleanser, and again, the face mask and the box. You can see the coloring is slightly different. The same, very similar price, if not the same. Yes, same price actually. 526 ringgit, and with a PV of 114, limited to 1 set per account per month. So you've only got 15 days to grab this. Please, if you're interested, take advantage. Looks like a great set and a really good price. Okay, here's a quick cilantro recipe for those of you who are interested in cilantro. This one does not include any meat. You could substitute some of the beans for animal protein if you prefer, or you could add in a little bit of additional vegetable protein in the form of tofu or any of the other vegetable protein, TBP. Oh my goodness, everything is escaping me, but you could blend that in if you wanted to. This says that you need 2 teaspoons of stevia, but I have to say, I don't think you need that. I think maybe what you could do is add just a little bit, a sprinkling of, I think the concept is because it's got the white wine vinegar and the cilantro, it's going to be, and maybe the Roma tomatoes, to be able to counteract that acidity, you need something a little bit sweet. I would probably just take a teaspoon of plain sugar and dust it on and then blend it in. That's going to cut the acidity a little bit. I don't love so much stevia in a recipe, but this is also quite a big recipe. As you can see, you've got multiple ounces of pinto beans, black beans, and corn. plus onion and bell pepper, et cetera, et cetera. But a really wonderful recipe, especially a great recipe if you're trying to incorporate more vegetables into your diet, which I think most of us are trying to do, at least most of us, I hope, are trying to do. Incorporate those vegetables, especially the raw ones. They have some wonderful digestive and cleansing properties. We want to get those water-based vegetables into our diet as much as possible. Say no more, no more for the commercial on vegetables. I could be a vegetable spokesperson. I love vegetables so much. I have to say, there's not a single vegetable that I really dislike. I love them all. Some of them I don't know how to prepare that well, which is why I don't eat them maybe as frequently as I could otherwise, but most of them I know how to cook and I just love them to death. Okay, here we go. Philippines. Philippines has quite a few specials because they've got some brand new products. Okay, so their product of the month is cedarwood. Let's talk a little bit about cedarwood. I love cedarwood for a couple of different reasons. Number one is I love it in any sort of closet area where you're going to be storing linens or wool. It's a refresher. It can kind of cleanse the air in there, any sort of enclosed space. Wonderful for diffusing. Second way I love it is for rest and relaxation and for sleeping before bed. It is an amazing oil for just grounding and putting the body back into that state of harmony, if you will, before getting to bed. Apply to the soles of the feet, apply to the spine. I tend to recommend cedarwood to men all the time. I find that somehow something about the profile of cedarwood and men, boys, just hits the nail on the head. It's really a good one. I've told the story many times about my son, especially when he was younger, was an extremely restless sleeper. He would shake his arms and legs, he would fall out of bed, he would talk all night and he would walk, he was not getting a restful night's sleep. And so, of course, when he finally got up in the morning, he wasn't that rested. And then he was just like, I don't know, like a wire ready to snap all the time. Many of you have experienced this with children that are super active. They don't get restful sleep at night. And then the next day just kind of continues the cycle. What I found with my son Henry was that I was able to apply cedarwood to the soles of the feet and onto the spine. And we know when we apply essential oils on the spine, we always apply them from the lower spine up, right? From the lower spine up. And we apply them on the sides of the spine. We don't go right up over the spine. We want to be able to really get into all of those nerve endings that are on either side of the spine. And then we're going to bring it right up into the hairline. But what I found for him, and he was really kind of tiny when we first started, he was about 4 years old when I first started using essential oils, it just settled him enormously. And what I found was a kid that would thrash and talk and walk and jump and all kinds of things in his sleep and bicycle and punch, just now settled down. And we would go into his room and when he fell asleep and he would be like this and he would wake up like this. So just an amazing transformation for my child. I hope if you know anybody who has children that tend to be restless at night or maybe tend to be restless during the day, that you encourage them to include cedarwood into their regular rotation. Okay, your 10% off product in the Philippines is Magnolia. Oh my word, how much do I love Magnolia? Let me count the ways. I love that rich, sweet, floral smell. Just love this oil. Great for personal fragrance, of course, which is the way I use it all the time. I keep one in my car. Just gives me a little bit of a pick-me-up during the day. You can use it on your skin. It's going to give you some soothing, wherever you're feeling a little bit tense or tight or dry areas on your skin. You can combine it with bergamot or ylang-ylang, again, for daily fragrance or for your skin. And you can roll it on your soles of your feet for calming. So we're talking about, when you think about Magnolia, we're talking about calming and relaxing, clearing the skin and easing anxious feelings. Wonderful oil. If you don't have it, great time to pick it up. How many of you like Magnolia? If you like Magnolia, give me a 1. If you're not a Magnolia fan, give me a 2. So if you are a 1, I want to see if we get a split between 1s and 2s. Oh, so we're getting mostly 1s. Yeah, it really is. It's super special. I just love Magnolia. I'm so glad we added it into our rotation a couple of years ago. Thank you, Choi Kwan. Thank you, Sandy. Thanks for Ling Ling. I love it when you all respond. Here we've got another promotion. This is actually extended. This is something that you had last month. So this is extended until April 15th. You've got 15 more days. You're going to get that deep blue 5 milliliter when your order is between 150 and 199 PV range. And then you're going to be able to add the Aroma Touch and the wooden tray when your order goes up to 200 PV. So this is only for the next, today's the 4th. You got 11 days, right? You got a few more days. And I think it's while supplies last. So if you really want this promo, jump in. Your special offer for the month is something called your Travel Buddies. Now, for those of you who are able to travel even just a little bit, let me know in the chat what it is that you take with you when you travel. Now, some of you take enormous cases with tons of oils or tons of sample bottles. I have to say, when I travel, I usually take no more than about 10 oils with me. Many of them are in this picture, and I don't necessarily take them in this form, but I will take wild orange, lavender, peppermint, and On Guard with me everywhere I go. If you have one that's not shown on the screen, Wang Li, I kind of tricked you there because you jumped in really fast. Thanks for dropping in so fast. If you have one that's not on the screen that you travel with, I want to know what it is. In the meantime, I'll tell you what this promo is all about. This is a special offer. These are your Travel Buddies. This is going to be Philippine peso 2,600 with a PV of 33. Teresa says she travels with Balance. We've got a couple of other people. Oh, eucalyptus, On Guard, and peppermint. Yep. If you've got one that's not on the screen, what do you travel with? I've traveled with, I don't want to say yet. I don't want to say. Sandy says tea tree. Yes, thank you, Sandy. Frankincense and Digestin, Amanda says, yep. Leilang says Copaiba, Easy Air, and Adaptive. Yep, also great choices. Callie says Breathe. These are all wonderful choices. Digestin, says Wendy. If there's an oil that's not on the screen or product that's not on the screen that you would travel with, please add it into the chat. Vincent says my pain formula. I wonder if that, will you share your special formula with us, Vincent? We'd love to hear. And Inky says lime. Inky, I love your name. That is the cutest, I have to say. Just the cutest name. All right, my friends, I'm going to keep going, but these are some great, Saihua says Hill Chrism. I've also traveled with different citrus oils. Sometimes I've traveled with some of the capsules, some of the gel caps. All of those are great choices. Marianne says grapefruit. Yes, amen. I travel with grapefruit all the time too. Okay, for now we've got a couple of new products in the Philippines. I'm going to go through these quickly. We've already talked about most of them as we were going through. We've got a new product. Citronella is available for the first time in the Philippines. We talked a lot about that earlier. Out and Protected. And these are all going to be available on April 1st. Then we've got Air X, also brand new product in the Philippines. If you haven't had a chance to explore Air X, it's a wonderful one, a good alternative to Breathe, totally different profile. Also new on the hit parade is Tamer from the kids line. And just like it says, this is a tummy tamer. So when we're thinking about any sorts of tummy issues that your little ones may have, or if you're a person who tends to have a very sensitive tummy, and try the kids line. Love the kids line. It's going to actually come up in about a second here. And yes, here's the whole kids line now available in the pouch with the rubber tops in the Philippines. So give care of your little ones make it a priority. So you've got those 7 wonderful blends all in rollerball form. I have to say, I've given these as gifts. I've given the whole pack as a gift to a new mom. We've got Thinker, Calmer, Rescuer, Stronger, Tamer, Brave, and Steady. And each one smells delicious. Also, the blends are simplified for little bodies. What I mean by that, usually each one of the blends contains no more than 3 or 4 essential oils, so that even our little bodies can just absorb exactly what they need and no more. So that's I don't know, I like that idea. And I like it for older people too. So keep this in mind. Here's a nice peaceful dreams recommendation for you with your cedar wood that we talked about earlier. Cedar wood, all of these essential oils are wonderful blended together in right before bed. And actually you could put lavender, vetiver, and Siberian fir in a capsule if you wanted, and take it internally, because those 3 are ingestible. You have to leave out your cedarwood, but your other 3 you could put in a capsule. You could put 1, 1, and 1 drop if you wanted to. Those would all be very soothing. Okay, please follow and subscribe. We've had some wonderful successes lately. So many people are watching. It's really gratifying to hear. We've had some great follows lately. We've been doing a lot of videos and reels on Instagram. I hope you're following us on our social media channels. We do really appreciate it. I appreciate every single solitary person that gets on and says hi or sends me a message. It's great to stay connected. And right now, this is our one option, right? Thank you so much for having been here this week. You're amazing, and we're going to be back next week. So next week, next Monday is the 11th, and I will be back here live. The following week, I'm going to be traveling again, so I'll be on the road. Many of you can probably guess where I'm going to be. I'll be away for most of Holy Week. And for those of you who are celebrating, we'll wish you a happy Easter a little bit later, but we're going to be going into the Easter season, which for Christians around the world is really the highest, holiest season of all. So please keep us in your thoughts and prayers. And for those of you who are going into the season of Ramadan, also for our Muslim brothers and sisters, as we enter into a season of prayer, that we pray for peace, really for everyone all over the world, because that's really what binds us together, a sense of peace. Okay, everyone, I am stopping the share for now. I'm so happy that you've all been on. We've got a lot of people that are saying different things in the chat, what they travel with, which is sort of cool. I'm going to read out some of the ones that we didn't mention. Helen says she travels, don't forget LLV. Yes, lifelong vitality. Absolutely, Helen, that's a big one. Vincent, of all of the ones he mentioned, I think oregano and fractionated coconut oil have not been mentioned yet. Really use your fractionated coconut oil. I will tell you a trick though. If you bring one of the roller bottles with, like, say, lavender touch, you can use that as a substitute for fractionated coconut oil, and also pack a little bit smaller if you're worried about liquids, bringing too many liquids and you're not going to be checking your bag. Saihwa says wintergreen, that hasn't been mentioned before. And Angelina says cypress. Oh, that's a good one. Yes, also really good for circulation. If you're going to be walking around a lot on a trip, maybe your ankles or your feet are just feeling achy and tired, cypress is a wonderful one to get your digestion and your circulation working properly. And then Ling Ling adds Purify. Yeah, sometimes you stay in a hotel, doesn't smell that great. Purify is a great one. I hope you've enjoyed all these specials. I've loved having you here this week and just talking to you about all the best, the latest, and the greatest for the month of April. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again next week. If you're on live, stay on. If you're not and you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us, and keep following and subscribe below. We really do love hearing from you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye now.